Hi guys, so this is about the title block project. You can see I've set up Maria Luther Houghton's drawings from last year, and you can see her complete 4 drawing series. I hung it up so that we could look at each one as we go along. So what I wanted to discuss today was the title block. We talked about this a little bit before you left, but I think it's really important to go over it. You'll see that on every one of these drawings, the title block is set up the exact same way. It just changes depending on what kind of information is in the title block. Every design firm has its own standard title block style. So in our design firm here at the Fall Mountain Greenhouse, Landscape Design, this is how we set up our title block. So I've got it out over here. You're going to set it up on that large piece of drawing paper, and it should be, for practice sake, it should be that paper that you already put your plant list on. So your plant list should be all set up on your paper, and you should have room over here in your margin to create your title block. You should also have a sample of this in your folder that you brought home when we put together your folder. You each brought one of these home with you, so you should have this. You are going to measure out 1.5 inches from the right edge in, and that's where you're going to draw your title block. And then your first block is going to be 4 inches wide. Your second block will be 3 inches wide. Your third block will be 3 inches wide. And your last block will be 2 inches wide. Within each block, you always put the same information. Your first block will be the resident's address, and you have to have 2 parts of information in there. You could either say Collinsworth Residence, Walpole, New Hampshire, or you could say 238 March Hill Road, Walpole, New Hampshire. You have to identify either the street location or the homeowner's name and the address. You can make up anything for this because it's just practice. The next block is the designer's name. That's you. And you should put the month and year down as well. So you could put April 2020. You don't have to put the exact date, just the month and the year. And you can abbreviate your name too if that makes it easier for you if you have a long name. Elizabeth Collinsworth is kind of hard to put in those little boxes. The third box, which is 3 inches wide, is your sheet description. And what they mean by sheet description is, for this one, you're going to call it plant list. Your next one will be plot plan. Your next one will be existing conditions. So you see, it's going to describe what it is that the customer or the person who's looking at the plan is actually looking at. So that's what that third block will be. And the last block is where you're going to set up your scale for this project. Because it was your plant list, you used 1 inch equals 1 foot. So you want to measure that 1 inch and mark it and say 1 inch equals 1 foot. But then you also have to indicate north. Here are some samples of ways that people indicate north. Show where north is with the compass. It's really important to know that in a landscape plan. And you can do it any way that you would like to. These samples kind of give you some creative ways that you can make that arrow that shows north. But however you want to do it is fine with me. I did this kind of weird squiggly thing here when I made a sample. So that's the title block that the Fall Mountain Landscape Design Program uses on every single one of their designs. The other things I want you to notice, this is great practice again because you need to space your letters correctly. Notice how all of these letters are consistent. They're all capital letters. I've made guidelines. If I didn't make guidelines, you guys would be able to see that in 2 seconds. It would stick right out. And I did not share top and bottom guidelines. Remember, that's really important, not to share top and bottom guidelines. If you don't have that extra space between, it can be quite messy and confusing looking. This really makes your plan look clean. It makes it look smart. It makes it look like you know what you're doing. This will be the last step of practice before we start our real big project. And it's important that you pay attention to these step-by-step practice opportunities, because it's really what's going to make your big project plan look super duper. I mean, this kind of by doing this practice, it'll be easy to do the big plan. You'll be able to really focus on other details other than your basic drafting skills. Okay, I hope this helped explain this next project to you.